General Reserve Budget Fund. General Reserve Fund revenues, interest earnings, reimbursement from park renovations, and that's $497,000. That's where that money comes into. Donations for the park renovation projects, $33,000 at this point. Interfund operation transfers to the general fund is $10,000. Cash balance forwarded as of 10/3/2024 would be $1,431,617.30, and at total revenues of $2,142,237.84. The expenditures out of that, and some of those are capital purchases from the general reserve funds. And that covers your bigger things like the scan tech, that we take things out of there. We're doing all the digitalization of all our records. $300,000 for the building capital purchases. Public Works, now you have all that in there. And we have to list this, like street sweepers, $285,000. Ours still runs, but that's almost 25 years old. So I have to budget for that because you can't even get parts for it. So once that blows up, you have to have the money there for that. As does the bucket truck for $175,000. Now we intend to try to keep that running and not take that money out of capital reserve. We're not buying it just to buy one. But we have, if we would have to spend all of that, and that would be in expenditures of $1,311,883, of which we have listed in the expenditure portion of it. We would still have $730,354.84 balance. I do not anticipate spending a lot of that money. Hopefully everything doesn't blow up at once. Your water reserve fund budget, and that is a balanced budget. Actually, it's over. Revenues, we cash balance forward, $1,431,617.30. We anticipate moving $208,914 over, and that's part of the water rate increase that covers the projects that we need to cover. $1,682,609.72. If we would spend all of that, that we have listed in there, and if you look at the next page of that, the SCADA system, water grade upgrade, the monitoring, general project for the well houses, hydrodrologist well assessment, that would cost us $1,044,300. We don't anticipate all these projects, getting done next year, so that money would stay in the capital reserve. And we anticipate if everything would go, we would do all that, which is not happening. It would be $152,700, giving us a balance of $529,910 in the capital reserves. One of the things that will lower this, and I'll cover this on the sewer reserve, I'll cover this in my manager's report. General reserves, revenues, what we have in there is $2,006,245.52, and that's currently which we have in our reserves. And some of the projects that I do know that we're going to be doing this year is the Headworks project. We have that under design. The screening projects, Meadowview Pump Station, and I'll talk about that additionally. That's a $450,000 program. Headworks is $600,000. Oxidation ditch cleaning, we are gonna have to do that. That's $85,000 this year. Chlorine tank post aeration system is $100,000. Some of these I don't anticipate getting everything done this year because there's just not enough of us. If in fact we would do all that work, it would be $1,634,400, which would give us a balance of $371,845.32. Highway aid fund budget.
Hey Chuck, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
And then capital purchases for the headwork building, is that supposed to be HVAC?
Is that what?
Is that supposed to be HVAC?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that, we don't anticipate that being that much, do we? We already did that, didn't we?
Yeah, that work was done this year.
Yeah, that one was just completed, so that'll be off the list, so that would give us, that's more reserve money that we don't have to pay for. And we were able to do that.
Yeah, I just figured it was a typo. I was gonna ask what an HAVC system was. But
Now, that was, we ended up doing that project and we got a company in, and we were able to redo everything for about $80,000, I believe that's what it ended up.
Thank
So
you.
it was significant savings. Highway aid fund, that's the money we get for maintaining our roads and everything. We anticipate the fund revenues, we did get that letter. Now this is supposedly gonna drop 2% every year for 5 years. I don't know why, but that's what they notified us of, correct, 2%? So, we're gonna get $133,583 this year. So that's where that is. I don't have the total of that. We totally have in here now is, what's that?
No, I don't do that on there, but it's around 4.
Yeah, so that'll give us over 500,000. But remember, we're using 300,000 of that to do the repairs for Lakeview Drive and the stormwater management project. The traffic control fund budget, probably going to get $4,800. That's basically brought in from the builders,
The
developers, and that basically just pays for our red lights, maintenance on our red lights and stuff. That, in a nutshell, is the budget. It's a balanced budget, doesn't require a tax increase, so that's good news. And we're still going to be able to get a lot of these projects completed that we need to get completed. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Any further questions other than any email?
And I want to thank Sandy for a lot of hard work on this too.
I want to thank both of you. I've been in and out of the borough offices and have seen the stress and the paperwork and the piles and all the rest of it. I know how much effort and time you both put into it, so thank you both for putting this together.
Okay, moving on then, the 2025 meeting notice.
I actually have that back one here, and Todd, you can chime in, because I had a conversation with you regarding the, whatever your meeting's gonna be called, planning committee meeting.
You're,
Oh, community planning.
Community planning. So talking to Todd, I just wanted to make sure that we were doing everything how we were, and since you're gonna be like a recommendation committee to the Borough Council, then we will have to advertise meetings. There'll have to be an agenda, sign-in sheet, and technically even minutes that are provided to council with recommendations, and then council would either approve or deny the recommendations from the committee.
Okay.
Is that
correct.
I have minutes from the 2 times that we have met. There is no formal membership on that committee at this time, and we've not made any recommendations. We're just kind of doing some things, so. I
Okay.
can formalize that and share it with you.
So Craig, what I would like you to do is to formally create, I know you've already done it,
Right.
but we can
Thought I did
formally
last
create
meeting.
the committee, because the council president can do that.
Right,
The mayor would be the chair
right.
of that committee. And then do you have to list the committee members? Because it's kind of just the community and business
Right now, it's me.
taxpayers.
Okay.
I am the committee member.
Because, I mean, some people wanna do Christmas on the Square, they're gonna show up for that, and some
Right.
people wanna do good old days or whatever we do.
Yeah,
And
different
could we
people
just do
have
like
different
members
interests.
of the,
I mean, you could have a committee and list members, the only thing is you put certain people on as members, and then, well, if there's not a quorum with those members, you have a meeting.
right?
Yeah,
So could the committee just meet with a fluid membership? And I, as the mayor, bring the recommendations for anything that's going to be a cost to the borough back to the council, and have the council approve anything that we are requesting funding for?
Well, if it's my understanding was it was gonna be a committee created by the borough council chairman, which then would make it more of an official committee as opposed to like an ad hoc gathering that you would host, because I know you've had like town hall meetings or meetings various places, so if you just met, not as an official committee, you met with people in the community, and then whatever that group comes up with and brings it to the council, I'd have to double check, but that seems like it'd be just more you getting feedback from the community and not necessarily a committee.
That is my preference.
So we could just do an ad hoc committee.
Can we just take committee out and just call it community planning?
Yeah,
Take the word
I
out.
mean, is there a set schedule for when you will do this?
The
or-
third Monday of every month.
Okay, and what is it going to be, just like you'll meet with whoever comes here at the borough office?
So we're holding it at the library because we have that nice community room, so, you know,
Okay.
community all goes together. And basically, the topics have been, what are we looking to do? So the focus, the first meeting was just on Christmas in the Square and other ideas, just people throwing out other ideas. The meeting last night was to talk about, there's gonna be a Halloween activity at the library this Saturday. That's all taken care of, there's no cost to the borough, there's nothing coming out of that. And it's completely volunteer, like whoever shows up, shows up. And then we talked more about formalizing the Christmas on the Square event. The future meetings will be on things like, if the community wants to do a community cleanup, if the community wants to do any other types of activities throughout the year, that's what future meetings will address. And the membership has been very fluid.
Okay. So I think, and I'll double check and get back to you, but I think essentially, just kind of phrase it as essentially you just having a public gathering for community members to come and give you public input. It's almost like you're having open office hours.
so then anything that they come up with, Jennifer, the mayor, will bring to the council for approval to do it,
Yeah,
and approval.
they won't be
and
making
approval.
recommendations, they'll just be feeding the mayor ideas that the mayor
Right,
brings.
the mayor brings the council for approval of the activity and also for approval of any expenditure of borough funds.
Correct, and it wouldn't really necessarily be like just approval, that you'd have to approve the whole idea, of whatever. is
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
She'd come with something that they've decided they would like to do, that would be a nice thing for the borough, for people in the borough to experience, and she'd present it here to us. We would, approve it if we chose to approve it, and then if she needed funding for it, she'd request that as well, and we would approve that.
So let me double check that everything is okay with that, I don't think that'll be any Sunshine Act violation, because it's not really a meeting of
Where you're
council,
making
clearly. There's, it's just basically, you're gonna sit down there and people will come.
Can we just call it the mayor and the community?
Yeah.
I mean, we basically, but I hope it's been, because we've been doing it as long as I've been here. I mean, we have good old days meeting, or we have a Christmas
Yeah,
on
but
the
that's
square.
not the borough.
That's not the
Yeah.
borough,
Christmas on the
that's,
square.
Christmas on the Square was,
Well,
but,
Christmas on the Square was just Christmas, we were doing the event, this is like different. This is a little bit different, it's almost like an ad hoc, I still call it
Yeah.
committee, but ad hoc committee where, and then good old days isn't us, you just
Yeah,
go
that's
as a
not us.
representative for the borough, we don't approve any of that stuff. But Christmas on the Square is an actual borough event that has always taken place. So yeah, I'm just making sure that however we do it, we're doing it how we need to be
right, exactly.
doing
We,
it. So
we
we'll
need
just
to, we
hold
need to
off,
be sure,
yeah, we'll just hold off and wait for, Todd.
okay?
Yeah, just so, when Sandy discussed committees, I don't know if many of the borough council members, we had an issue with committees and advertising them and stuff before that prompted a lawsuit a few years ago, so just want to try to avoid that.
All right,
okay. Thank you.
okay, so we will wait to hear from Todd by the next meeting.
So that's the only reason my meeting notice was still on there in case we had to
All right.
redo it.
Okay, so the next item is this building, and we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, future renovations and use. What I would like to do is to have council authorize staff to seek 2 to 3 firms that we might be able to entertain, or to choose one of, perhaps, to come back to us with a recommendation of a firm to use to help us decide just how we're gonna lay out the offices and the other things related to the building. So, no commitment beyond authorizing, at this time, to them being authorized to go ahead and seek out some firms that they might come back and discuss with us. So, if that's meets your approval, I'd like I'd like a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. List of mayors. Sandy, you want to follow up? This was Betty's
Yeah.
recommendation.
So Betty, Courtney was able to go back all the way from the beginning of time. We went back for the first mayor in 1864, which was a William F. Krause, all the way up to current, which is Jennifer.
You knew him, didn't you, Grace?
Yeah, I did.
We went to school
together.
So, I will actually give you this list, if you want my list, Betty, you can have my list so you can look to see through. I did put some of these, put these on your desk, just a, example of, because I can tell you now, Betty, we are not getting pictures.
I have one.
So I just printed out a couple of examples of something we could actually put on the wall, and we would just do those nameplates. We would put their name and the years that they served.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good
So
idea.
there's 3 of them. I mean, I like the first and second one. I actually like the first one the best, but
I do too.
I wanted council to see, or if somebody has something different they would like to come up with, that's fine, but I just wanted to give some examples.
Wanna share it?
Yeah.
Who's been in the polls?
Sandy, there wasn't any subtle marketing in that being in color and, highlighted in gold.
It's kind of just a picture. Yeah, you'd have to purchase this. I didn't do any cost yet, because I just wanted to see what route, or if somebody had a different suggestion on what you wanted to do. We don't need answers tonight. I just think about it, since we do have the list of mayors. Now think about how you want to display
Is
them.
there a company that makes these?
Yes, this was online, so, and then the nice thing is you can get these little plates engraved anywhere, which is probably the easiest easiest way to do it, because you wanna go from past to future.
Yeah, and it's very similar if you've ever seen it in the library down here. They have a donor wall, and they have something very similar to that.
And we have it in the fire department as well, past chiefs, past president, I can take pictures if you guys wanna see that and bring it in, and you can see what we did with that as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty similar.
So the biggest task is done, getting the list of mayors.
Right.
Now just, how do you guys wanna display them on the wall?
I mean, if you all have a preference of at least somewhat of the style of these three, like this one is, again, this is the one Sandy likes, it's also the one that I like of these three. We could just have Sandy start to check out some pricing and things to come back to us with.
Yeah.
So, is that all right? Everybody good? All right. The other thing, with regard, we approved the staff moving ahead with coming back to us with some thoughts on hiring somebody to help us with the building. That's not going to stop us, hopefully, from doing some things in here, in this room. We want to get, we talked about old photographs or what have you, maybe a mural or something like that. So that's going to still work behind the scenes. It'll come back here to everybody, but Sandy's also looking for a big clock to go up in that plug up there, so we don't have a clock in here, but
It's very hard to find clocks with the
So,
plug. That don't
anyway,
look like you're sitting in school.
I think that's enough of that. Somebody donated to your grandfather. All right, list of mayors. Next on the agenda, we had a request to address the council on a potential nuisance ordinance from Mr. Mike Fleming, and I see he's here, so you have the floor.
All right. Okay, I'm not good at eye contact while I read.
That's all right.
Okay, good afternoon, thanks for your time. I'm here today to ask the council to help myself and the persons around me or within this community with the noise that is waking us up at night times between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. I have been here before about the same subject in the past. I was here April 9th, 2024, or as I refer to it, the full day, to talk about Article 500-21G of the, I think it was the zoning code. This is the article that the former zoning official told me to present to this council and ask the council to approve funding for noise measuring devices that would be needed to use to enforce this adopted code. After speaking to the council, they said they would investigate this matter. I was also at the rezoning hearing for the property behind our street and brought up the noise being made. The former zoning officer said that he had not received any complaints about this during the rezoning hearing. After the meeting, I learned that this company is within the town limits. And I started calling the former zoning officer about this, and that is when he referred me to Article 500-21G. On May 14th, Mr. Keller told this council he tried to call me but was not able to get a hold of me, then stated that I was only bringing this to the council's attention because of the rezoning behind our street. If he never spoke to me, it's an unjust assumption that led to nothing being done to help the people of Prince Street sleep at night. Furthermore, Mr. Keller stated that he would have the zoning officer contact me and let me know to contact the police department when hearing this noise, and they could see if the noise was unreasonable. I never received that phone call either. These statements set forth the tone on the council's decision. I did contact the police department several times about the noise and never received a phone call from them on their findings or if they even went to the site. After reading these minutes, I sent an email to President our council president about this, and the council president set up a meeting on June 12th, 2024 at 2 p.m. with myself, the former zoning officer, and Mr. Keller. I walked down Prince Street and got homeowners who support this in hopes that this meeting could resolve this problem. I took a half a day off work to attend this meeting in hopes that this meeting would be productive. This was not a productive meeting. I would refer to it as an interrogation of why I was complaining about the noise. The former zoning officer did measure the noise this company was making in the middle of the day in lieu of during the morning hours of when they are making the most noise, and what I stated several times about. On July 1st, 2024, Mr. Keller sent me an email saying that he considers this matter to be closed, and the noises coming from other sources. I am here today after being misled to believe that Article 500-21G was the right path to fix this noise problem. I have spent thousands of dollars insulating our outside walls, and I put 2 layers of drywall up to help soundproof our home. Our homes on this street were built in the 1950s. There are no insulation in the walls. So the noise from this company still wakes us up about twice a week on average. I sent our newly elected mayor and council president a video showing how loud they are, and that the noise is coming, how loud the noise is coming from this company. I am asking that this council pass or amend the code to stop the operations of companies from creating noises between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. This is when the residents of our town are trying to sleep at night. How this code or law can be written is up to you. I would be happy to assist in any way possible. In accordance with the latest census, there are 4,782 persons living in our beloved town, and they all deserve a good night's sleep. I am uncomfortable being here tonight after being misled, lied about, and lied to by persons sitting in this meeting. This is not just a problem for me, but it's a problem for all residents of our town as our town grows. We must keep in mind that all residents deserve a good night's sleep without interference and no laws to protect them from such noise. I also believe that Mr. Keller owes the residents of this town an apology for assuming things about the noise and degrading my name in front of this council and other citizens who attended the meeting on May 14, 2024. We must be better than this, and I believe we can. I grew up in this town. My stepfather grew up in this town. His father grew up in this town. They all say it's a great town. I believe it's a great town. We have to be better than this, and we have to protect our citizens. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mike.
I also sent you guys, I sent you a video that I shared with,
She sent it to all of us.
so that you could hear the noise.
Okay, council, you've heard Mr. Fleming's issue. Currently, what we have in place obviously isn't abating the problem. So we will either have to look into what we can do, if we can change anything. I'm not sure whether or not, and we won't do this tonight, whether or not businesses are grandfathered in, they're already here, and we decide to change an ordinance or create an ordinance, how that affects them or impacts them or whatever. I just don't know that. So-
It depends what type of ordinance, like zoning wise, generally you can't enact an ordinance that, like say, okay, this property is making this use and now you change the zoning and say you can't use it anymore, that you can kick them out. That's basically grandfathered as a non-conforming use. If you update standards, like for instance, the planning commission is making a recommendation to update a nuisance ordinance. So one of the things that I know was big in